Well, the Beautification Awards are an annual award that we give to homeowners and residents in the township who have done a really fabulous job on their landscaping. And we wanted to reward the efforts because it makes us all look so good. The criterion for them has been established, a few years ago under our former chairman, Dub Heron, and we developed a scale, but basically it's beauty, color, variety, creativity, special features, and then just that special wow factor. Each year, you see some repeated flowers and things, but people have such favorites, and then they do so much work and they graft their own bushes and flowers, and sometimes they have things from their family, and it's just amazing. It's like creativity, it's beauty.
It was quite a surprise to win for the third time this year. I wasn't expecting it. We weren't expecting it at all. The whole thing came as a surprise, and I was pleasantly honored, I guess. It's something that we didn't even work towards or anything, so it just happened. It's our little backyard retreat. Well, we love flowers. We like the peace of the waterfall, the sound of the waterfall. We like the playhouse. It's just kind of our little place that we get away. And we don't do a whole lot in the front. We just do most of it in the back, and it's just relaxation. Even the work is relaxation. Coming out and weeding, getting my hands in the dirt, watering flowers, is how I relax. We do a lot of perennials, and Bill moves them around a lot from year to year. If something doesn't do good in one spot, he'll put it in another spot, split them, move them around. This year we added a little bit more annuals for color, because usually towards the end of the season things start dying out, but this year we noticed with some of the annuals we still have a lot of color left, which adds to it, and it kind of is a great year for flowers all around this year.
How you doing? Good.
This house used to have burnt grass, a clothesline, and a swing set. That's it. And when Bill came into my life, he became Mr. Green Jeans and started planting flowers and gardening all over, and I wasn't as much into it until later. And then I did get into it when my kids grew up and started going off more on their own. Then I started kind of wandering out here and developing a love for gardening too. So now the both of us can't think of any place else we'd rather be than in the yard. Patience is what I've learned, because I've learned that my garden isn't going to look exactly how I want it to look at first planting, because you have to wait until everything fills in, and then it becomes beautiful just the way I like it, but it's not going to happen right away. So that's the main thing, is patience. And sometimes even with the plants that don't look like they're doing so well at first, just kind of give it a season, and then it can either come back really great, or then you know it's time to remove it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's quite an honor to be recognized again, and we're thrilled.
I cannot believe I win the Hall of Fame. I don't even exist Hall of Fame for the gardening, but I'm happy. Well, first I like my garden to look pretty. I love beautiful flowers, and I always look for the nicest flowers and the most beautiful colors. I look for the right color for the right place. And I just love my garden to look pretty. I go to buy some flowers, and I see which one is some of them they grow nice in the shade, like shade and sun. Some of them they need just the sun. So I look which one it's, which one I have to put in by the sun, and which one I have to split it like by the shade. So that's what I'm looking for. I never get tired of working in my yard. Sometimes I stay 6 hours, Sometimes depends what I have to do. If I have to trim all the bushes and weed and everything, sometimes take me 10 hours. But it's not all the time like that. Some days I just go like, just look the flowers and water it, and take me half an hour, I'm done. So, but usually the most of the work is on a springtime, like when I plant the flowers. Like a couple weeks later, they need little maintenance, like you weeding, and maybe you gotta add a little more food to them, So that's the more work. But like a middle of the summer and on later, they don't need that much maintenance. But still, you have to. I still have to see how they're doing, and I just like to be with the flowers outside. They need good soil. If it's a good soil and just give them water and sun, that's all they need it. And of course, they need love. You gotta go and see if everything looks good, But I really enjoy working outside in the yard. Garden tip first, I gotta put soil. The soil is first, number one, and then the right flowers for the right places. Well, I want to thank everyone for choosing me to be, 3 times winner on a gardening. So I appreciated that, you recognize my work, So I'm happy, and I'm just going to continue doing it.
I was in shock. I wasn't expecting it. I had seen some pictures of some other people's yards, and you know how it is with artists, they're their own worst critics. So I was excited though when I found out, and very proud, and my family's proud. A lot of work. I want to go with the natural look with lots of rocks, lots of curves. A lot of wildflowers that are native to Michigan. They're all wildlife into the yard. I did all the designing. I even cut the grass. So I do a lot. I do a lot in the spring, and after that it usually takes 10 to 20 hours a week to maintain it, including cutting the grass. So it's a lot of work, but it's worth it in the long run, and my family enjoys it, and hopefully the neighbors. Well, we had our daughter in 2007, and I wanted her to learn a little bit about nature from our own backyard, you know, with the different types of birds and butterflies and plants. And she can see everything from outside the door walls, so it's nice when you can look out and see Baltimore orioles and butterflies and chickadees, hummingbirds. I would say use as much compost as possible because it makes a big difference with the plants. It kind of gives them a boost. And you just kind of mix that in with the dirt in the spring, and it makes a huge difference. Get bigger plants, more flowers. And also you might want to ration off 1 to 2 hours a day just to keep everything going and looking good. Just happy to help keep Shelby Township looking beautiful. Hopefully the neighbors appreciate it, and hopefully more people will want to do it.
I kind of do my garden for fun for myself, so it's nice to have somebody say, oh, we like it too. I like to experiment with plants, and it's something you have some control over. Not all total control, because God controls the weather and where the sun is and the shade is, but it's always fun to try something new, to go to a nursery and find some new plant and then put it in and see, will that grow where I want it to grow, and to combine the colors and the different kinds of plants. That's fun too. I really don't have a look. It's just, as long as it's organized and as long as the kids can play, so that they're the priority and everything else around looks pretty. That's why there's the big lawn. So there's always a place for a football game or a volleyball game or just running around and being silly. So that's why I have a separate little area that's garden, just garden, and then the borders, so that there's always something for the children. I really like tropicals. I have a greenhouse, so in the winter they go in, And I just managed to keep them alive through the winter, and then they come out. So like the hibiscus that you can see, or the clematis that is the climbing plants. Some of those go in and come back out again. They just provide color the whole summer. They're like having annuals, but you can keep them over the winter because annuals have a lifespan. They're done at the end of the season and they go into the compost bin. The first thing you have to do is make sure everything is cleaned up from the previous year so that no diseases are in the ground, or black spot is one that carries over in the rows. So you got to make sure everything's all cleaned up. And then a lot of fertilizer and compost goes into the ground for where the annuals are going to be. And I generally will have a plan in my head, what I want to do this year versus last year, where the plants are going to go, get that all going. But the cleanup and getting everything out, and then, you know, planting many flats to get the color, getting the stuff up from the greenhouse. My husband helps me with that. He's very helpful because they're very heavy. So we get them up and out. You know, some people love it and some people just tolerate it. So I happen to be a person that just loves to watch things grow. You know, it's always kind of sad when you're cleaning everything up, but it's like it's harvest time now. I've got lots of peppers and tomatoes and things like that growing. It really is. I think it's an inborn thing. You either love it or it's like, I really don't want to get my hands dirty. The right plant for the right place. You can't force a plant to grow somewhere it doesn't want to grow, whether it's the soil or the lighting. Some plants you put in and you just happen to hit the right place and have the right sun. And sometimes you try and it's like that plant is just not going to grow there. It's a microclimate, it's not going to make it. So you have to make sure that you have the right plant for the right place. This has been a lot of fun this year. It's been a lot of extra work to keep the garden looking tip-top for people to visit, but it's been really interesting, and it's really nice to have somebody else come in and say, oh, I like your garden.
Oh, it was total shock. I was so surprised because I didn't even know that someone had nominated me. So yeah, it was very shocking. We're real heavy on hydrangeas across the front. We love the hydrangeas. It gives a lot of filling, and of course the great summer and through the fall color. It's awesome. And then we have hydrangeas that also carry around to the back and throughout the back gardens. I have to say that probably my husband is the biggest push. He comes home with plants and I have to find places for him. And it's a little aggravating, but we always work it out. Between the two of us, we work it out, and in that way we're a good team. Probably my favorite part of the gardens is just having a really clean look with, you know, mulch and continuous mulch, and then the various plants. The gardens transition as the, you know, season goes on, with roses here and there and different perennials. Oh, it's a lot of satisfaction. We have grandkids, which growing up our kids were not really into the yard at all. You know, it was, we're going out to work in the yard and they were, you know, just not very into it. But now with grandkids coming over, there's a lot of satisfaction, and the kids actually do bring the grandkids for the gardens. Stick with it. Stick with it, read, and just get out there. Sometimes you just don't want to. It's important to get out every day and at least walk in your garden and see what's going on. Do a little pruning, a little edging, whatever you see, I mean, it can change from day to day.
The Beautification Committee has been around for almost 30 years. We've been doing projects. The main one is the cleanup day in the spring. And that's, the whole community gets together. We need a lot of volunteers, and our committee spearheads that with all the volunteers. Right now our committee only has about 5 members, and we've been up to 12. So we would be looking for more people. The Beautification Awards have also been going on for decades. They spotlight those special homes in the township. And then we also do other things because we're funded through the township, so we take care of some of the landscaping and maintenance on Shaner and Mound Road, for example. And of course, our big one is also the welcome signs. I just think next year people should make their nominations in June and let us look at some more of those beautiful gardens.